Happy full moon. I just got back from taking my first walk of the day. It was too hot to go as far as I wanted to go, so I'll do the other half after dinner. I don't know. I just been wanting to make a video for a while and just say a few things. One thing that I wanted to note was that I have been posting some stuff on my Facebook feed, and people are like, I don't know, coming out of the woodwork. I don't know if it's, the algorithm always amazes me, because I'll post stuff and like no one will see it, no one will comment, and then I'll post other stuff and like people just crawl out of the woodwork that I haven't talked to or that haven't commented on any of my stuff in forever, and they're all over it. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be an algorithm thing. Suddenly I'm being shown to everyone because, and then I know like as soon as a post gets engagement, then it starts putting it on more, people's feed. But I notice something really funny going on. So I'm posting things like, you literally open the app and it says, what's on your mind? So I tell it what's on my mind. That's it. That's all. I'm sitting here by myself in my room, usually sitting here in my art corner, and I'm just saying something I'm thinking in the moment. No big agenda. I'm not judging. I'm not thinking of any particular person most of the time. And all these people are seeing my stuff and getting massively triggered. Either they're like, yeah, Jody, or they're like, you shouldn't judge people and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, this is not even about what you think it's about. Like, calm down. So I take a lot of walks and I spend a lot of time alone. And I'm not someone who has to have social media on all the time. Like when I got my first trailer in, we got it at the end of 2017. But in 2018, I spent a lot of time alone. And in 2019, in my trailer. And I'm very good at being in a space by myself. I'll sit here for hours. No phone, no music, no social media, just puttering around, doing my stuff in my own mind. And which is really healthy, by the way, to be off of social media and off of screens. And then I spend plenty of time, catching up with different thoughts and ideas online too. But I'm fascinated because I'm not so married to it. I'm fascinated by people online are just like, oh my God, every little thing triggers everybody. And so I was taking one of my walks and I was like, how many people don't understand that if you see something and you get an immediate response, that's about you. That's not about the poster or the topic. Well, it could be about the topic, but it's not about them. That if you feel triggered by something and you're like, have any kind of emotional reaction, that's you having an emotional reaction because it moved something in you about your own life. And I saw that so clearly. I posted something the other day, and which I'm going to get to why I've been posting kind of suddenly abrupt things in a minute, but I was so like, wow, that had a reaction on them, didn't it? Like, I wonder what's going on in their life that pointed a spotlight on. I have been doing a lot of healing, particularly a lot of childhood healing. Basically, I have CPTSD. I have been through, I don't talk about it. Some people know some of it, but I've never fully ever told anyone. In fact, I just had a conversation with my sister the other day and said something I didn't realize she didn't even know from childhood. I was seriously, massively abused, physically, psychologically, emotionally. I mean, I was horrifically abused as a child and a teenager. And because that then put me in a state of permanent trauma, I have CPTSD. I have been diagnosed with CPTSD, which is actually kind of funny how I got that official designation. I kind of knew my whole life, but it was funny when I applied for disability and they sent me to their psychiatrist so that they could get their official to approve my disability. He said, "Oh, you clearly have CPTSD." I was like, and I looked at him and I said, he said, "You have CPTSD." And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, you think so?" And he said, "No, I'm telling you, you have CPTSD." And it was the first time that I had ever even thought about like all that trauma, because I've had so much more trauma since then. Because now I understand it's because you repeat cycles, right? If you went through a lot of childhood trauma, then that's all you know. So that's what you're seeking as normal for the rest of your life until you learn this and start to fix it. And it's so funny because my entire life has been, I'm 56. So since I was about 16 years old, I have been in constant cycles of looking for help, looking for healing, looking for, oh, I see how I messed up. How do I make this better? How do I stop repeating these patterns? Plenty of people don't know I have some ex-husbands, as in more than one, like not just the father of my children. It's so funny to say that now because, like, yeah, it's just so far removed from who I am today. But when I look back over my lifetime, I see how much of my life was repeating patterns that I had picked up in childhood. So, as most of you know, in 2019, when I was 49, finally living my dream RV, full-time RV life, I started having seizures out of the clear blue and got epilepsy, and which I had no idea at the time that anyone can get epilepsy at any age, any time. I thought it was a childhood thing. And then you either outgrew it or you had it the rest of your life. But I had no idea that 1 in 26 people, it doesn't matter what country you live in, what race you are, what ethnicity, whatever, I can barely say that. I still trip over my tongue from all the tongue injuries and from some of the aphasia from cognitive injuries due to seizures. But I had no idea that 1 in 26 people on the globe will have epilepsy at some time during their life. I was fascinated when I learned all these. Once I got used to the idea. In the beginning, I was not fascinated by it. In the beginning, I was horrified. But once I got used to living with it, I'm fascinated now by all the things I know. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so having epilepsy has forced me to take a step back and make peace with the fact that this is something that I'm experiencing. I don't want to say I am epilepsy. I'm experiencing epilepsy. Okay. I prefer to say it that way because that means it can go away at any time. It can heal at any time. I can move past this phase of my life. But that's a topic for another video. But as I sit here, it eventually caused me to not be able to work anymore. I was fired because I had epilepsy. And I was unable to work. And eventually I realized this is not getting better. You have to apply for disability. You paid into it your whole life. Maybe you'll be able to get disability. And I was unemployed and zero income for three solid years. I mean, sitting at home, can't work, having seizures, experiencing medical trauma for 3 years, waiting for a piece of paper from the government that said, yes, you're right, you have something that you can't work anymore, and we're going to work with you to get you health care and income and so on. So I've had a lot of time, and now it's been almost 2 years that I got my disability. So for like 5 years now, okay, out of 7, since I first had seizures. Because I also had seizures for a whole year. Like by the time we figured out, we knew I had dementia and brain fog, and I was researching Alzheimer's every night before I went to bed until I finally had a seizure in front of somebody and said, oh, that thing just happened. And he's like, no, I think you had a seizure. Then we had new information to work with. But for the last 5 years, I've been sitting with this reality, trying to figure out how to make peace with it, how to live day to day, how to get myself to a place of healing where I can move forward and plan my future once again. And I'm kind of finally there now. Well, I shouldn't say kind of. I am finally there now. Where I have it as under control as it's going to be for now. And I've had a lot of time to sit in silence and sit in peace and sit in conscious. Well, I've been conscious living, God, at least 20 years now. And all that means is being aware in the moment of your life and not going through on autopilot and letting everybody else plant your ideas in your head. Conscious living, people hear that phrase and they think it's all woo-woo, spiritual, whatever. All conscious living means is you are awake and aware in this moment that you are the creator of your life. You are a sovereign being. You create your own reality, and you consciously make decisions. You don't just live on autopilot and let the world run you like an NPC. That's all that conscious living means. You can take it 17 different ways further in different directions, but the bottom line is conscious living means, like now I consciously think about what I'm going to eat because certain foods give me seizures. So now I consciously read labels and I consciously make decisions about my food. I don't just randomly pick what I always bought for 20 years and shove it in my mouth. I actually think and plan and read labels and avoid certain restaurants and avoid fast food and avoid alcohol and all these different things. I make conscious, aware choices all day about my eating, my sleeping, do I do this, do I do that? God, that sounds exhausting when I say it like that, but it's actually not. It's actually the opposite of exhausting, because the longer you live consciously aware, the more you make your life what is best for you and what you actually crave and need. And so then everything gets easier and easier. And you don't make the changes all at once. You make one small change at a time. And then you don't even realize it. It becomes so easy that you've just been doing that now for a few weeks, and now you make another change and another change, and suddenly it's 10 years later and you don't recognize, like, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago, and it's amazing. So as I spend time with myself, I consciously chose to not let epilepsy hold me back. I said, fine, you know what, if I can't physically do certain things, I can mentally and emotionally and psychologically continue to grow and spiritually. And I have gone out of my way to spend my time working on expanding my knowledge on all different topics. I have spent my time doing deep, I don't know, some people call it shadow work, some people call it emotional healing, some people call it, therapy. There's 17 ways you can describe something. Everybody comes at it from a different angle, but the bottom line is I've been healing a lot of trauma. And one of the biggest hurdles I could not get past was self-judgment. And I had worked on from so many different angles. And I have grown and changed and grown and healed and changed and grown and changed and healed 7 ways to Sunday. But there were a couple still attachments that I could not get past. And I recently made some huge breakthroughs. And now I feel like a completely different person. I feel like I finally, I kept trimming the plant and pruning the bush, and I never pulled it out from the root and saw the roots hanging, and now it's no longer in me. It's over here now. I felt like I kept pruning it, and it got smaller and smaller, but the roots were still in there. And I finally just once and for all, and stood there holding these last few attachments. And the last couple weeks, the month of July has been incredibly life-changing. Unfortunately, it has affected some relationships. it has affected some very dear long-term relationships. And that always happens in your life. If you're a normal, healthy, forward-moving person, you're always going to have, they say some people are there for a reason, some people are there for a season, some people are there for a lifetime. We all experience ups and downs, and there's a lot of things that I haven't talked about publicly because they involve other people. And if I were to tell you my truth and my whole story, I would have to tell you too much of someone else's private information that's, not my place to tell you about. And so that's another reason why, even though I do a lot of public videos over the years and I'm very open and I have nothing, I'm like, whatever, it's very therapeutic for me to do this, to make videos, to share, and not only to heal myself, but to show other people there's no shame in being a normal human and having ups and downs and ins and outs. Like that's the human experience. So there's no shame in that. That's why we share the good and the bad, right? But sometimes I can't share things because I would have to tell you other people's stories. And that's not my business to tell. So I can't fill in some gaps for you. But I have healed so much. And I have created new and healthy. I personally like the word boundary. Some people hear boundary and they hear fences, guarded, put up boundaries, put up walls. It's quite the opposite to me. To me, I used to let everyone steamroll me. I was a people pleaser extraordinaire. I mean, it's why I've gotten scammed. It's why I've gotten ugh. It's like I finally healed that thing that doesn't need to please people. That was that was one of the things I got to the root of in the month of July. I finally said what I wanted to say in the moment, and I didn't give a fuck if anyone liked it or not. I didn't care if someone said, you know what, she's a bitch. Then fine, that's your judgment that I'm a bitch. I'm not trying to be one. I'm simply trying to be unafraid to speak my truth and heal this trauma injury that I've had since childhood. Being shut down, shut up, only say it if it makes someone else comfortable. I'm not doing that anymore. And just like with these posts on Facebook that have apparently triggered some people, it wasn't about them. It was about me having an idea and expressing it freely into the world without fear, without holding myself back, taking off the boundaries that other people put up that I took personally. And I heard, you're not worthy. You don't deserve to be seen. You don't deserve to be heard. I finally pulled those roots and I'm speaking my truth. That's all. And it's not meant as a judgment on someone. It's not meant to upset someone. If it does, that's on you. I'm not trying to harm you in any way. But I'm allowed to have an opinion, and I am allowed to express it without fear. Look how happy I look just saying that. And I finally got it. I finally understand. You cannot truly be yourself until you reach that place where you truly do not care what someone else thinks. I'm interested. So I'll read comments. I may or may not reply. I may or may not react. I read everything. I'm interested. But I don't need you to like me anymore. I don't need you to want to be my friend. I'm allowed to have an opinion and thoughts about my experience on this earth and put that out into the world without shame. And that's what this is about. And that's what I've been doing. And I'm healing more every day because of it. I've had pains that I have carried for years disappear. I have had that deep breath. I've walked more in the last 3 weeks. July 1st, I had a horrible back injury. Well, the injury was previous, but the pain came up. I was sitting in this chair. In fact, I should kind of sitting crooked now. I shouldn't do that. I was sitting in this very chair. I was fine. I did something in the bathroom and cleaning up and walking around. I came here and I sat here and I was probably crunched over something on my phone. And I got up after like 40 minutes and I couldn't stand up. I have an injury in my back. It's a crazy story I'll tell in another video. But the doctor thinks it just didn't heal. It has something to do with the spine and your hips and the spine and how they work together. And the doctor explained it to me that like it's never fully healed back together. And so it'll slip sometimes. And I don't know, I must have been sitting crooked or something. And I stood up and I couldn't get up. I could not stand up straight. I could not walk across the room. I had to like hold furniture to get me to my hiking stick, and I had to use my hiking stick to stand up and like edge, and I had to go get my partner. And it was scary. For 2 weeks, I could barely move. To get out of bed, I had to like I could get myself to sitting, but I couldn't use my lower back to lift myself up off the bed. I had to keep my hiking stick with me by the bed and hold it so I could put all the energy, instead of using my lower back to lift me up off the bed, with my legs, I had to use my arms and the hiking stick to pull me straight up, because I couldn't, if I angled even the tiniest bit, I couldn't move. It was horrifying. That's how I started my July. For 2 weeks, okay? I have healed so much ick. My back pain went away. I have walked more in the month of July. Today's the 29th. I have walked more in the month of July than I have in probably a year. I have not walked that much in 1 month, because we go every day. Even if it's hot out, we go at night after dinner. If we miss a day, it's only because it was pouring rain or something. I'm almost up to a mile a day. My focus was on moving lymph. Move lymph. If you can't get out of bed, put your arms in the air and move them. Put one leg up, like one knee up, so it's like a triangle, to the bed, and then do one leg lift. Because if you can't lay flat and do a leg lift because it hurts or it's too hard, if you put one knee up, and then you can, I don't know why, but it does. Makes it easier to do a leg lift. And then you put the other knee up and you do that leg lift. And I have like exercises I do every day before I even get out of bed, just to get blood flowing. And if I just totally focused on, I'm just gonna move lymph. I'm just gonna get my lymph nodes clearing and get blood flow and just move lymph. And I started taking walks, and I said, it's about getting on the road every day. We live in a very rural area, out on a dirt road, so it's a hiking stick. They literally the county comes and puts, I think it's the county, because we live in such a tiny city, it doesn't even have, it's crazy. Middle of nowhere mountains, Appalachia, I love it, it's gorgeous. But the county comes and dumps gravel on a road once in a while, just to keep it a road, because it's so dirt and muddy. And so just like I stayed with a friend a few years ago, and taking a walk meant it was suburbia, and it was Florida, so it was as flat as can be, and it was cement sidewalks and asphalt roads, like regular suburbia America, right? And taking a walk, you would just get outside and you would walk, and everyone in the neighborhood would be walking after dinner. And it was so weird to me, because I had gotten so used to being here, where we're on a dirt road and we're at the top of a hill. And so it's a dirt road, and it's a winding road, and it's an up and down road. And so it's literally a hike with a hiking stick on a gravel topped dirt road, just to go in front of my house and go take a walk. And so a half mile, even when you're injured, or you're coming off of an injury, or you have health issues and you're just trying to get out there and move some lymph, a half mile is nothing in suburbia when you're on flat concrete. and you have proper shoes to make it comfortable, it's nothing to do a half mile. But out here, doing half mile means I had to go up and down 2 hills and around, and it's wild. It's just wild. But I have walked more in July than I have in any month in a year. Even with losing the first 2 weeks, hobbling from my bed to the table, to the bathroom, to the table, to the bed with a hiking stick. I'm so proud of myself, the progress I've made this month. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal cosmic power. Yeah, anybody live in space. Anyway, sorry, I can't say the word phenomenal without doing that. If you know, you know. But yeah, I have healed so much, and sadly, a couple relationships are not what they were a month ago. But one person might be gone forever. Another person, I don't know. And it had to be done for my health, my heart. I have to do what's right for me. I have to speak my truth. I have to say, you know what? I deserve to be heard. I deserve to have my thoughts and feelings on a topic. I deserve to not keep hiding. With both of these people, I hide. One of them is a family member. I have lifelong hid my true feelings because it wasn't safe with this person to speak my truth ever. And if I ever did, I was mocked and tormented for it. And no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I am finally okay with you not liking me or what comes out of me. And I'm healing so fast. It is amazing. It is amazing. I'm healing so fast that one night I thought I was having a heart attack. I honestly thought I was having a heart attack. And I thought I was dying. And we went to the emergency room, and apparently it was some irregular heartbeat thing. It's not dangerous. It's actually very common, and it's not dangerous unless you have it too much and you have other symptoms with it. But I didn't know what it was at the time. But now I know. It's because I'm healing and releasing and letting go physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. I am just purging on a level I've never in 56 years. Like, there's been times in my life where I thought I was, but now is the real deal. And I've always been a little bit uptight. Like, people, it's so funny because people that don't know astrology will be like, oh, your sun sign, you're an Aries. It's like, well, yes, that's true, but I'm also Virgo rising. And if you know anything about ascendant signs and Virgo, I make a lot more sense once you know my whole chart. If you just hear she's an Aries, like, oh yeah, she's fun, she's bubbly, she's spontaneous, she doesn't finish in anything, she's very fun. She's exuberant. But as soon as you know the Virgo rising, you're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. How she can flip right into business mode just like that, or everything has to be deathly routined and detailed and just a certain way, or she has a heart attack. Those other things that people close to me know. It's like, oh, now I get it. But yeah, so anyway, July has just been an incredible month, and I just needed to make a video just for myself. I'll probably throw it on YouTube just for fun, but this is for me to look back and be like, I remember that. I remember that's how I felt at the end of July. Today is the full moon, the full buck moon, and I was doing some candle work last night. I love candle gazing. Candle gazing is an excellent meditative thing for me. It's hard for me to focus. anyone who starts meditating and your brain goes off in 17 different directions and you don't realize in the beginning that that's okay, that is meditating, like just being still and letting your brain. All these people think meditating is like sitting here, and your brain is empty. No, meditating is just sitting still and being aware and noticing. Be the observer. Like, oh, I get distracted and I start thinking of this and I start thinking of that. Right. Be the container. Be the stillness. Be the person who's noticing all these thoughts and where are they coming from and why am I thinking them? And eventually let them be like balloons and they float away, right? Candle gazing is this incredible meditative practice that I picked up a while back. And I absolutely love candle gazing. And different colors are different energies. And so I might have a specific idea that I'm trying to uncover. You know, like maybe I'm stuck with art. So I want to put a certain color candle to get that energy moving. And so I do a lot with the colors. And I do a lot with that. And it's really helped me a lot. Just get back into myself and center. And so I've done a lot of that. But yeah, it's been quite a July. I keep putting my hand on the table and it shakes my thing. Sorry about that, but it's been quite a July. I can't wait to watch this back. And if I do post this on my YouTube or if I make shorts or something, if you see the whole video at wherever I may post it, please put a purple heart at the end for epilepsy, so I know you saw the whole video. I'm just always curious how many people bother to watch to the end. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And if you have been waiting for me to get back to you about a conversation, or we were supposed to chat, or I was supposed to call you back or something, I'm sincerely sorry. My sleep schedule is all over the place. It is so hard for me to plan anything because I'll go to bed and then I'll be wide awake 3 hours later. Well, great. Then I'm exhausted and have to sleep 5 hours in the middle of the day. I have, like, my sleep is all over the place. But yeah, this is where I'm at, and thanks for watching, and thanks for still being here. I appreciate you, and I hope something I said might help you somehow. Have a great day.